was...
How did your bench go from 165 to 225 in 1 week?
It is a little weird.
It wasn't 1 week.
It was 1 week.
No, it was not.
2 weeks.
It is a little sus, dude.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplaysmoredays.com. Today we are going to be revisiting the discussion of Griffin Johnson and his progress lately. So if you recall, back in, I believe it was August, Bradley Martin posted a video called Transforming TikTok Star Griffin Johnson. He basically outlines how he is going to gain 15 pounds of pure muscle in 90 days.
We want to put 15 pounds of lean muscle on Griffin. And is that all you want to get out of this? What's the goal?
Dude, yeah, 15 pounds. That's like the main thing that we're going for here. Okay. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if it's more, then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So obviously they are claiming it's natural and haven't, didn't indicate otherwise when they broke it down and everything. And there's kind of this joke running in this whole, as I've started to dig into this, I just did the video on Bryce Hall by popular request, and then a lot of people have been sending me, people are literally sending me this Griffin Johnson guy's bench press statistics as it goes week to week to get my take on it and get me to follow up, I guess. And it's just funny how there's a running joke in this household or whatever about how everyone's on steroids and they're just shitting on each other and trying to it's almost such a joke that you almost wonder. It makes you question, okay, are they actually taking something? Because they're so open about joking about it. It's it almost makes you think, okay, maybe they're not. Because, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, I guess, are accusing them of it. So they're just leaning into it really fucking hard and saying, yeah, it's all fucking steroids. And then it makes you think, logically, okay, they're joking about it. It's not actually steroids. Or fucking is it? Is it just reverse psychology? So, there's so many instances in almost every video they talk about it.
Bryce, do you do steroids?
Don't do steroids.
That's not true, guys. Bryce does do steroids, as you can see, so.
Now, Griffin isn't new to the gym, but he hadn't been taking it seriously before this transformation, and he's trying to gain a bunch of muscle to be more viable for acting roles in Hollywood and whatnot. And the first recorded instance of his bench press that I could find to make this assessment, it's not even really his, it's more so his bench press strength that is sort of having the, everyone's red flags going all over the fucking place about this guy. He went from benching a plate to within a handful of weeks benching 2 plates for reps. So this was the first instance I could find of his flat bench in terms of to compare to the most recent video. So here he hits 1 plate for until failure.
Go! There you go. Push. Go.
So you can tell at this point he's already at failure after a handful of reps. He's starting to get to the point where he needs assistance. However, you have to keep in mind, this is not the first exercise he did. If you actually go back earlier in the video, he hits incline until failure to the point where Brad is literally helping him. Here he is with a plate and what appears to be a 10 potentially. So this guy's already pre-exhausted his chest with a heavy compound movement before he went on to flat bench. And then, that's what a lot of people are using as his baseline metric of what his bench is. They're looking at this flat bench where he does 6 reps and then starts to need help as, what he can do. When in reality, if he went in fresh, doing flat off the bat, he probably could have been doing 165 to 185 for the same amount of reps or something like that. So maybe that's a bit pushing it, but still definitely more than what he's doing here. Now, a lot of people use that as their gauge of what's going on. And then moving forward to October 5th, they hit bench again, and Noah Beck versus Griffin Johnson chest day. So this is 10 days ago, and he gets under 2 plates here, and all of a sudden he can do 2 plates for almost 2 reps, whereas prior there's no way he could have fucking touched this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do 225 unfatigued.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
So he does it for like a rep and a half. But again, a lot of people are looking at this and they're not realizing that earlier in the workout, he's already done a whole bunch of shit. Like the guy has pre-exhausted himself quite a bit. But if we go back to the beginning of the workout, we can see him doing a plate and what appears to be a 10 for, I guess let's just see how many he can do here. So he probably had another like 2 or 3 in the tank before he probably would have needed a decent amount of assistance. Like you could tell he was getting pretty close to starting to approach failure, impending within a few reps. Now the most recent update is actually October 14th. Griffin tried it, ... And he goes into bench flat, completely like ready to go, fresh, not fatigued, not pre-exhausted. And we see how many reps he does here.
Puts on 315.
Go. Come on. Push. Let's go. Go. Come on. Go. Press. Again. Go. Up. Again. Press. Good. One more. Push.
So Brad helped them like way past failure there, which is fine. But when you look in the comments section, just fucking inundated with, let's see. I mean, I respect that Griffin is loving the gym and training, but his ass shoots off the bench almost every rep on his 225 flat. When you filter by top comments, let's see. He'll magically rep out 315 by Thanksgiving. Okay, we all know he didn't just try SARMs. He's blasting with something much stronger. SARMs don't create those kind of gains in that time span. Comments, Lucky Charms, Lucky SARMs. Yeah, SARMs will make you stronger, no doubt, but I bet he's on Anadrol. You'd see him blown up already if he was on Anadrol. He ain't impressive at all, but honestly, who cares though? It's not our life. Laugh my ass off, go worry about something else. I'm saying SARMs don't give you next level strength like gear does. He's probably on a low dose of test. Anadrol doesn't make you blow up, LOL. Anadrol makes you stronger. You're thinking of Anavar. Idiot. Some SARMs are better than some steroids and vice versa. And by the way, SARMs are basically steroids. Shake my head, watch Coach Greg. RID 140 is not better than a low dose of test. If I had the choice between gear and SARMs, I'd choose pitting in a second. Man, like this whole comment section is just like about him taking some shit. And I will be the first to say that it is a pretty impressive transformation. His strength is fucking, like we're not just talking about he's adding like 5 pounds to the bar every week. Like he's gaining like what seems to be like 10 to 20 pounds on his bench like by the week, which is as a newbie, it's like how likely is that to happen? Even if you're, newbie gains, they are like steroid-like gains for a short period of time as you get into it, but it's like, is he in a position to experience that progress from baseline considering he's been in the gym before many times and he's pretty much starting off like from scratch? He already had like a plate for reps. Like how likely is it that that's his actual baseline? And as well, just like looking at all the instances of these guys like throwing each other under the bus for fun.
Good, for sure. You did really good. 2 weeks, whatever Griffin's on, I'll be able to rep that out like you just did.
Yeah, you just did. 2 weeks while Griffin's on for sure.
Hey, what's that level of SARMs right there? You know, the legal steroid that you use?
That's the one you brought over, right?
No, that's yours, bro.
I don't think so.
The only natty ones here are me and Josh.
Oh, really?
I think the only natty one here is me.
Nope, I'm completely natty as of right now.
I'm natty too.
As of right now, why did you have to add that?
I'm just learning from Blake right now. Is this how I water it?
So these guys have kind of like thrown each other under the bus like several times, but it's like, it's such a joke that it makes you wonder, okay, are they actually really throwing each other under the bus, or is it just like a huge fucking joke, inside joke amongst them that are just like leaning into the whole public kind of opinion that everyone seems to have about these guys? It's just like everyone's assuming the entire squad's on gear at this point. Griffin's before and after body composition is not something to scoff at too. This is what he looked like just back in July. Kid looks like a rail. Like honestly, he looks just like your average, skinny guy, ectomorph. Not going to pack on muscle very easily. His baseline is nothing special. And then within a couple months, here he is, and he's almost as big as he's like getting pretty fucking close to the size of this guy in the house who's probably has the best physique of all and has had the best physique for a while and is actually the guy that Bradley used as the clickbait in the video of of Noah versus Griffin Johnson chest day, where they have they show Noah's 2-plate bench, and he can basically crank it out for like a pretty easy 8 to 10. So these guys are on the up and up, and they're changing by the week, it seems like, or at least some of them are. And Griffin is fucking exploding right now. Of course, a lot of people in the fitness industry, they see this and they aren't overly impressed. They say this guy is still a rail. Why would you even assume he's on anabolics at all? And it's like, you don't have to look like a Ronnie Coleman or a Jay Cutler to be on gear or on SARMs. And frankly, if I was to really put money on something and people were going to ask me straight up, Derek, what is your opinion of what he is doing or not doing? I said from the start, if this guy was going to put on 15 pounds of muscle in 90 days, there was absolutely no way you're going to do it naturally. It's just physically impossible. Regardless of how good your genetics are, you'd have to be on a fat fucking cycle. And even guys with good genetics are not going to put on 15 pounds of actual contractile tissue in 90 days. And you can act like, oh, you're just a hater, blah, blah. If you work hard, you can. Like, no, it's like physiologically fucking impossible to put on 15 pounds of actual, not like your weight went up 15 pounds and you still have visible abs, literal dry stage weight contractile tissue in 90 days, 15 pounds. That would be impossible without gear. Is he on track to do that either? No, I don't think he's packed on 15 pounds of muscle. However, he's definitely packed on a decent amount, and the strength and body composition is reflective of that. And the fact that the joke of SARMs keeps coming up on the table really makes me lean to think that it's probably SARMs. Like, I doubt they're actually using anabolics, like actual anabolic steroids. I wouldn't be surprised if they are using SARMs though. Like, the fact that it's even a part of their jokes, you wouldn't know about this stuff unless you were like seriously looking into it to some extent. Like, SARMs are actually relatively obscure, and you'd have to be sort of looking into it to know what they are to begin with. Like, these are research chemicals. They are not traditional anabolics that you know in like in sports and stuff like that. These are things that are still in clinical development for use in muscle wasting and stuff like that. It's not like these are mainstream things, and the only reason they're necessarily starting to get mainstream is because they're relatively easy to obtain and they're legal over the counter in some contexts. So what do I think he's doing? Frankly, I am going to guess he is doing something like Ostarine, LGD 4033, or RAD 140. Personally, that's just what I see. It's also the look of his physique as he's gaining this weight. It's not like it's very, he's gaining like clean, dry weight. It's not really indicative of something that's a potent substrate for aromatase. If he was on D-bol, or if he was on a high dose of testosterone, if he was on something like that, you'd notice it in terms of how much volume he's holding. But the way his physique is gaining, the way his body composition is transforming, as well as the way his strength is just blowing up like disproportionately. It's one thing to have newbie gains, but it's like for your bench to jump up like 15 to 20 pounds every 7 days. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, to me, this kind of, the way his body composition is changing, the fucking strength, all of it leans towards, and the fact that they're talking about SARMs all the time, I'm gonna guess SARMs. And my guess would be an Ostarine or an LGD or an RAD. I wouldn't be guessing any of the other compounds because they're a bit less commonly deployed. So my guess is one of those. And I guess we'll just see how much his physique continues to progress, and if the strength just keeps exploding. Because it's like, if it gets to the point where he's benching like 2 plates for like 12 reps, and he can like max out at like 3 plates after just a couple months of doing this like Bradley Martin regimen, like there's no fucking way you're natural at that point. And even right now, it's like right on the brink of, okay, you know, like plausibly it might still be, if you were a total newbie and hadn't done fucking shit prior to embarking on this transformation with Brad, then like maybe you might be able to argue, but all signs lead in the direction of some sort of anabolic assistance, in my opinion, and I would be guessing SARMs. So if you want to get educated more on SARMs, like frankly, I am not afraid to say I have the most elaborate and comprehensive content on the entire internet about these compounds in terms of what to expect from them, how they work, how they facilitate their anabolic effects in tissues, how they interact with the androgen receptor, their tissue selectivity relative to anabolic agents traditionally deployed in a performance enhancing context, how they suppress you, you know, the inherent liver toxicity that's often overlooked, their effect on SHBG levels and what kind of downstream effects this has on the level of androgenicity in your body. These are all things that no one knows about when they go into these compounds just haphazardly assuming, oh, it's like side effect free steroids over the counter. It's, you know, it's just this capsule. It's not a big deal. Like, it is a fucking big deal. And you should see some of the lipids on these fucking guys' blood works, some of the testosterone levels, some of the just general, you know, lack of attention to detail and proactively preparing to take something like this that a lot of people end up doing. They end up, you know, fucking themselves up potentially because they don't know what they're doing, or they just yield suboptimal outcomes because they don't prepare either from a diet and training context. Like, there's a lot of things that you should do before you just, you know, haphazardly jump into the realm of anabolics, and taking a SARM is indeed jumping into the realm of anabolics. A lot of people assume, oh, if you're on a SARM, it's not like actual steroids. It's like both of these compounds, just because one is a steroidal molecule and binds to the androgen receptor and one is non-steroidal and binds to the androgen receptor, they're still inducing anabolic activity in the same way. Like, they're metabolites and they're kind of like satellite effects, and their interaction with other receptors like glucocorticoid receptors and things of this nature is going to be different because one is actually, you know, tissue selective through the SARM relative to a anabolic steroid, which is supposed to be less targeted in its action. But a lot of people have no idea what they're fucking talking about when it comes to this stuff, and you should understand them before you just start haphazardly popping them and assuming you're gonna get jacked as fuck. So if you want to see my deep dives into bodybuilding pharmacology and selective androgen receptor modulators, I'll put up a pinned comment to all the videos I've done breaking them down, all their clinical trials to date, you know, what applications they have, what you can expect from them, side effect profile, most notably, what they do, their binding affinity, things of this nature. You can find that in those videos, as well as more elaborate breakdowns actually on my actual site, moreplates.com, with all of the clinical studies referenced for you to click through yourself if you want to delve into it further for your own personal research. Everything is broken down into concise subsections with a table of content. It's more palatable. And again, it has all the hyperlinks to all of the clinical studies I reference for your own personal research. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend you do. There is no better source of information for these compounds than my articles that I've made on the topics. To be frank, I spent weeks and actually years of research compiling every single piece of each breakdown in order to have the most comprehensive overview of every single SARM. There are a lot of bullshit articles on the internet that are just, you know, their search engine optimization ratings are fucking inflated because of the way Google works, unfortunately, right now. But if you end up finding my stuff, you'll see pretty quickly why mine is head and shoulders above the other articles on the internet in terms of elaborating on exactly how this stuff works. And I actually know what I'm talking about when it comes to it, rather than these other cookie cutter articles that are being put out that just, you know, cut and paste exaggerated benefits to expect to kind of like compel you to buy them more. So check that out if you're interested. And if you want to get sent my articles over email, the new ones when they're published, which I don't put them out that often, but when I do, they're definitely worth reading through, because again, all the reasons I mentioned earlier about the elaborate breakdowns. You can subscribe to the newsletter. It's the first link in the description below. If you want to see the articles, they are just on moreplates.com in the SARMs subsection category, so just click that. Or you can go look at my playlists as well to delve into all things PEDs, bodybuilding related. And that's it. And if you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I am associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, if you want to get your hormone profile addressed, or just check if you have any, you know, potential health issues that need addressing via hormonal imbalances or deficiencies, or just basic metabolic parameters. I recommend you check that out, as well as it's all telemedicine, by the way, from the comfort of your own home. So it's not like you need to go meet a doctor in their office. You actually do it over Skype, FaceTime, Zoom. It's the way of the future, in my opinion. And if you want to support Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode, that's in the video description, as well as anything else I am associated with. So check that out. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.